Good evening, and welcome to Nightfall in Amsterdam. Tonight we're joining a group of Guru, as word has kind of spread around that Eric, the newly arrived Get, is seeking to establish a place to honor and worship Fenris as much as Get worship anything. To that end, with the Get especially being relatively new to this sept, there wasn't a lot. In fact, there's not even a lot of organization yet, with well over 24 new Guru and kinfolk arriving at this sept in the last month. Territory, regions, and where the hell everyone's going to sleep is still getting sorted out. But a couple of the Get that were present directed him that the kinfolk Angrim would be a good place to start. He kind of handles the spiritual side of things for the tribe. And hearing of this endeavor, it sounds like a couple of other Guru have decided to kind of tag along and see what he's dreaming up. Angrim is, as is often the case with him, in a small clearing, fairly well away from most of the other kinfolk and Guru. He keeps a small fire and a leather tent, sleeping in a very sort of primitive format. I will turn it over to you guys to introduce yourself. He's does have a couple of wolf kinfolk with him there, and seems to be cooking something over the fire when you approach.
Yeah, Eric will walk up to him. That big rune type walk. He's actually kind of refreshed to see a bit of lupus kin as well. Because normally animals fucking run away from him. But he will be respectful. He won't impede on the man and sit down. But he'll are you Ingram? All he will say is he'll stand there very stoically, very hands behind his back, very militaristically.
Angrim kind of nods and invites you up to the fire. He's cooking a fairly large roast.
He will smile, and once he's invited, he will plonk himself down and will nod. Eric Ulrichson.
He gestures to a knife by the roast and he says, "Well, if you've found me out here, I'm going to assume you were looking for me."
Yes, you nod. Takes a bit of the meat off if it's offered, and I was told to speak with you about the possible building of shrines related to Great Father Wolf.
Yes, well, I suppose that would be me. We don't have many in the way of crescent moons or those well educated in the historical practices besides myself. There's, and of course, air comes and goes. There's a crescent moon, but the not many elders of the Get have remained in this area given the ongoing tribal drama.
You nod. I was hoping to perhaps invoke some unity among the brothers and sisters of my tribe, but also perhaps encourage, by example, symbols of unity among the others for their tribes also. a building of a shrine of Fenrir could rally us in a time that we need to be rallied and need to be unified against the strife that is causing our people many problems.
He kind of nods and he gestures and he says, I suppose that would be one option. I maintain a couple of the old hoarder, the old stone cairns in the old ways, but too many have forgotten those.
It is something we could teach. I know I am but a young member of the Gru Nation, but I believe if we lead by example, and that is what we Fenrir are, both kin and Guru are born to do, is lead by example. I would help in any of the construction. I am a decent carpenter, and any materials you need I will happily go out and make sure my kinfolk or I can get.
Well, certainly building and education go hand in hand. As he turns towards you, you notice that the side that was not towards you, he's actually missing one eye. It looks like it was cut out. And he says, the key is also to motivate them to want to learn the old ways.
Nod. Make an excellent point. But I believe in taking the initiative, and seeing someone build provokes curiosity, which means then once the curiosity is indulged, we can begin to teach.
You make a valid point. Although, how to hook the interest of the younger Gru into the historical ways might be a trick in and of themselves.
It will, but if we only get one, I would be happy.
So, Rat's gonna start approaching the fire. He's gonna look around, look at everyone's reaction.
Angrim kind of looks at you, and he's seen you around the sept a little bit, but not ever spoken with you or anything before. But he'll gesture to the roast, and he'll say, "It might be a bit different fare than you're used to. The Den Father does not cook the same ways I do."
I can only imagine, but if you don't mind, I'll introduce myself. I am Rat, or Eva Wagner, if you want my human name. And I heard you talking, and just be able to sit by the fire would be nice to warm up a little bit. Thank you so much for allowing me to join in on the roast. And she's gonna take a dagger and just cut off a small piece. Chew on. And then find a seat near the fire and just start listening to everything.
He kind of looks at you and says, "I gather the Deep Woods is a different environment for you. You strike me as more of a city wolf.
I can't deny that. But there's times I've had to sleep in the deep woods. I'll say that much. Wasn't the best experience, but you make do.
At that, Lucas walks over. He's seeing everybody starting to congregate. Looks at Eric. Oh, man.
Hello.
Looks over at Angram. Hi, I'm Lucas Three Chords.
He looks over at you and says, "I've heard of your music, but that would be the extent. My name is Angrim."
Pleasure to meet you, Angram. I guess less than what I thought I was.
Well, when you're a
Out of character, he was making a joke.
he says, "I live in a different social circle, I imagine."
Well, this is a cool setup you got.
Yes, and travel around the woods, so it helps to be semi-portable.
Oh, I'm totally for that. I have to say I'm impressed by the leather tent personally. Better than my cardboard box.
Well, it doesn't get quite as cold as it does in the northern countries, so it's not as bad. There I had another one that was fur-lined as well.
Oh.
And just for lulz, you said we're on Sept, right?
Correct.
So we out in the woods. So there will be a proceeding, kind of like clumping of feet, because I mean she ain't sneaking nowhere, and she doesn't have to be fucking graceful. She's clear. She do what she want. So there's just kind of like this clomp, 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 probably a sploosh because it's marshy around here, and and finally, Eric, you big bastard, where the fuck did you, Eric? I lost Satan.
Eric will just rub his beard and lean over. It extends out behind the fire to see the big, long braid. I am here. Do not worry.
What, you got Satan? And you can hear someone again clumping closer, finally, like coming through the trees and shit.
That is
Finally getting into
not
visibility.
his name. That is not his name. Call him
Steven,
by
Satan.
his name.
Slip of the tongue, really? And she finally gets out of the trees. Big orange hair. Kind of, shot together, not shoddy clothes, definitely not top tier either. Rocking that well put together thrift store chic, as it were.
The
She finally
boy is
tromps out.
training. If he's not with you, then he should be training. If he is not training, then, well... Shrugs idly, like, whatever.
Yeah, she finally comes into visibility, gets that line of sight, and mid-tromp kind of pauses. And just takes in the view there. These lovely people gathered all together.
I don't think I've ever been described as lovely.
But yeah, she just kind of pauses and takes in the view, blinks a few times, and just looks over at Eric. It's this "why would you hurt me like this" kind of expression.
They join the fire. I am discussing something with one of my tribe's kin.
Reaches into her pocket, deep into the pocket for the flask, and finally, continues her her paused putter, kind of looking because it's like, oh, awesome. That is definitely, just kind of glancing over and like you can see the mental checklist. Totally a metis and totally metis. Awesome, swig.
It's always a pleasure to see you too, sweet cheeks.
She proceeds to, with her free hand, very deftly, with a flourish, give him the finger. And continues tromping.
Rat's gonna look around for I'm forgetting the name now. Oh, I'm just looking around apparently.
Dazed and confused.
No, Ire. I'm looking for Ire, right? Yeah. Wait, where is she?
You see smaller grayish wolf padding out from the tree, sniffing the air in front of her. And she seems to be heading straight towards you guys, sniffing.
Rat's just gonna cock her head. I'm like, are you sure you want to sniff me?
I'm not sniffing you, she says when she gets closer.
For what,
And,
it's worth, Grace chokes mid-swig.
And she's actually like sniffing at the roast that she's been following the smell of. And she'll shift Hamid and well, hello. She'll give Angrim a nod.
Hey.
Cooking again?
Yeah. Turns and looks at the group and says, apparently I needed to be cooking more.
I'm gonna look at Ire. Are you going to maybe introduce us? I'd like to know more about who he is. Not a telepath.
You mean you haven't introduced yourself and you've been here for how long?
I have introduced myself. Some people just react differently. I greeted him, he greeted me. It was a great greeting.
You have not greeted me
And you can
on
understand.
this. Eric will just say very calmly, just staring at her, like,
Well, how would you like me to greet you?
like a guru greets another guru.
There's like a slight lean over as she tips the flask away from her lips. He means fucking properly.
Points at the 3 chords. He did it. Gives him like a respectful nod, like, yeah, you did, very respectfully. Even just nods it, like, yeah.
She's going to stand up and proceed to do everything that 3 chords did. Maybe a little bit mockingly, but to say, there you go.
Oh, really? Okay. If it's mockingly done, Eric will stand up, cracks his knuckles. If you're going to mock our ways. They are not to be mocked.
Oh, I'm not mocking. I mean, I'm actually here to talk a tale. Especially since I've been running into a lot of interesting folk lately.
But the difference between you and 3 chords. He looks at 3 chords to see if he got the name right, almost. Like, I got that right?
Give them the up nod.
Just nods like, cool. I want to make sure I got that right type of nod. is he showed proper respect?
Well, this is all
Or
going
you
on Lucas Kid there,
mock?
the pistol fingers.
That's what basically Eric will say is the difference between you and him is he showed me proper respect as a fellow guru. You have not.
Oh, I respect you as a guru. We all serve Gaia, so I respect you there.
Just like a glance over to ear. Is that a cub? Tell me that's a cub.
Then greet me as such, with your tribe, your deed name, your rank, and I will greet you as such. Surely you have been taught that way.
I simply just go by Rat. That's it.
Were you born 4 legs, 3 legs?
There's more to you.
She's going to look at Ire. I didn't hear that. What did you say?
I said you have more to you than just the name Rat.
Yeah, yes, I do. I mean, and I'm one who's really wonderful at weaving tales. Obviously, I'm more of a city folk, but
Breed, auspice, tribe, rank, name. Say them.
Sure, I will. But I also was going to ask you to do the same. There you go.
I was waiting for you. You
sure.
Approach the fire. It is cold.
My name is Rat. I am Bonar. I am a Gilliard. I am of Metis. And, oh, geez, I always have trouble saying this word. Ira, can you help me with this? You gotta help me. I always have trouble saying this. Cleith. Oh, there you go. Thank you. I have trouble pronouncing that for some reason.
No, you're fine, man. You're fine. Don't worry.
You got it.
And Eric will nod, takes it in. Very well. I am Eric Trimbenson, known to the nation as Hellhammer. Born on 2 legs, a rune, and child of Great Father Wolf Fenris. Cleith.
Thank you so much. And then she's going to look over at the redhead, who's been rather rude.
Grace O'Connell, Hamid-born Ragabash, Fianna, and Cleith. Kind of gives her that, like, she really does. It's straight up shoots that bitchy little look of, like, is that so hard? It's just written on her face. Shoot a glance over to Eric to see if he's giving her a look. Because if he is, she's going to be like, what?
No, Eric just turns. When you meet another guru, you introduce yourself to show respect. Other guru like me, who are higher in rank, would take you to task far harshly than I would.
No, I respect that. In fact, I respect the get, especially after some of the individuals I ran across.
It is merely an advice.
No. And if you don't believe me, Ire was also there to know the tale that we encountered.
I do not doubt your tale. I am merely offering you an advice. It is not meant as an insult. It is up to you
And I
to
didn't.
take it.
No, and I didn't take it as an insult. I appreciate uh, the warning to show respect.
Good. Then I will not need to apply force. You'll turn and look at the Fianna, which means you sit the fuck down, essentially.
Fiona very sulkily takes another little swig out of the flask. Like, I'm not doing nothing. Looking offside.
He just calmly sits back down as if all is well now. Big, angry Arun is satisfied.
Angrim kind of looks around at everyone, and you can see, just the one eye staring out. He looks down, picks up one of the fairly large knives, carves off another piece of meat, and he says, "I'm Angrim Sigurdsson, Gothi and follower of the old ways of the Norse and the Get. And here, I'm the fucking cook. Just keep it civil." And he'll look around and he'll say, "I'm all for showing respect and tradition." And then he looks at Eric and he says, "If you really expect a formal introduction from the student of our den father bacon grease, you may want to reconsider where you're spending your energy."
Then that is something that needs to be addressed. They are young Gru. They must be taught properly. For if she goes out to other seps and other places, they will beat her into the dirt, as they did with me when I grew up and showed disrespect.
He laughs and holds the knife up pointed towards you and he says, "The difference is that you're a son of Fenrir. They expect you to know things like honor and respect. But a child of Rat, they expect to be, at the very least, sloppy and irreverent."
I ain't never been anywhere they wouldn't expect a proper introduction. Rather no.
Yeah.
He gestures and he says, "Around a cook fire with no elders?
First meeting's first meeting.
When the one with the most authority is a kinfolk?"
Kind of a brow quirk on that.
Well done.
There are plenty of times where formal introductions of the old ways meant someone getting a couple teeth knocked out too, but that doesn't mean it's always the best solution.
We're not talking about some antiquated thing people aren't doing no more. We're talking about the standard thing they'll expect at any sept. That thing goes talking like that to anyone else. Anyone outside this sept, where they let her get away with it? She got her face torn in.
Well, hold on a sec. This isn't a formal greeting here. We're not having a moot.
Right.
If we're having a moot, I know.
There are still new people present. I mean, you can at least do the formalities. It's not you, is it? To just do it?
And
Well,
I
never
did.
mind the
Manners.
importance of it.
Respect, common sense.
And I did. In fact, the fact you're wasting on this tells me you guys have nothing better to do when I have a tale of something important that we should discuss.
Almost
Eric
wasted as much time as you did avoiding it.
Eric takes a breath in, takes a breath, just. Are we still talking when the matter is settled? Or will it be further settled?
I'm with the cook.
You have
fact,
introduced
the cook-
yourself.
Yes, thank you.
If there is further argument, then it'll become a different matter. But as far as I'm concerned, there is none. Unless gestures at the Fianna and the Menace, you two wish to continue at each other's throats.
I'm good.
There's a thoughtful look.
Looks
Very, very thoughtful pull out of the flask, and she finally flicks the lid on it. Nah, that ain't worth it.
now, the Galliard has a tail. Just gestures.
Well, thank you so much. And the tale has to do with Fenris himself. I'd like to know what does it mean when we run into Fenris? She's looking around to see people's reactions.
You wish to know what we mean by kind of explain.
I mean, when we encounter Fenris.
And when are you going to encounter Great Father Wolf?
Oh, we have already encountered Great Father Wolf. Ire can verify that, looking at her sternly. Oh, she's gone. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's true that happened.
Yeah. It was quite the experience, I will say that much.
The fact you're not missing a limb means it went very well.
I have a lot of respect for Fenris. And I'm glad that Fenris is fighting for the right side.
Great Father Wolf understands the sacrifice that's needed to fight the worm.
The only thing I'm trying to figure out is what does it mean? What omen does he bring when he makes himself present?
Means that, generally, prepare for war. Prepare for judgment.
Sounds like everything we're about to encounter.
Fenris is not an easy totem to be under. He demands a lot. So when he appears, he expects the best of us, through blood, honor, and sacrifice.
I would have to agree with you on that.
Just nods like, No, I can hear you fine.
I'm just going to continue to look at Ire until she says something.
Out of character, I had to run into the house, so I didn't hear anything prior.
Okay, out of character.
Got back out of character.
Okay, out of character, I'm discussing the omen of running into Fenris and what the heck that means. And so she's looking at you. Because clearly it seems like you're linked to it, so.
I mean,
Ire, what would you say?
Linked to it. She's a get.
No, but Ire, I mean, it seemed he was presenting himself to you. Unless my okay.
Ingram kind of looks around. And then he stands and says, "The problem is we tend to lean on our totems too much. It's a modern idea to expect them to give answers, to expect them to provide." He turns and stands and walks kind of away from the fire, deeper into the woods. And he says, "The old ways understood how to commune with the spirits. And he kind of makes a gesture, and the wolf that was laying there picks up a chunk of the meat, starts following him into the woods.
Grace just glances over to Eric.
Look back over. Is what he said wrong?
You just use a shrug. Not there.
Like I said, blood, honor, and sacrifice. Fenrir won't give you the answers you always seek. You have to get them yourself, and hope they stay along the lines. Which is why the shrine I intend to build will hopefully start a path.
He kind of, you can see he slows his walk a little bit to see if anyone else is coming with.
Eric, fuck it. Stand up, fuck it.
And then
Walk after.
over his shoulder, he'll say, "The old ways do not take place among the houses, around the fires.
Yeah, Grace hops up and
follows along.
pops over alongside Eric and go pretty trots. Trying to keep up with that ridiculous long stride.
Then it's not too much further into the woods, and he stops, and there's a large pile of stones. Um, Stacked up fairly neat, but not by any way organized beyond that. And kind of wedged between the stones so it stands upright is you can see a spear there's a small, kind of a clear crystal sitting there. And then he sets the meat on it as well. Draws his knife across his hand and lets that pour over the stones. And he said, in the old ways, we did not build shrines. They were not churches or buildings or places of worship. We came to find the gods and the spirits here in their lands. We did not demand that they come to ours. We offered them sacrifice, pieces of ourselves, pieces of our harvests, things with meaning. To give up part of your meal, to accept a wound upon yourself. Those were offerings the spirits could respect. And he takes his hand and he draws, writes runes in the blood on the stones. And you see the altar itself. It's almost like the stones kind of seem to slide apart. And you can see a tear or almost a portal type into the Umbra. And he says, and when we give to the spirits and we go to the spirits, they're not going to give us answers. They're not going to spell it out. They're going to give us the tools that we might find the answers ourselves.
You know what? I'm just going to give it to people for free. The Ragabash looks like she's like about to literally either have a seizure or start vibrating. One or the other.
Brad's going to come closer over there now, because she's curious to look at the portal.
On the other side of the portal is a far more primordial forest. And you catch glimpses every once in a while of things moving through it.
Rat's just going to slowly turn back and look at Ire.
I don't know if Holly's with us or if we lost her.
I can't hear anybody really. I might have to hop out and come back in.
All right. Well, I mean, do what you gotta do then. It's when people are addressing you and you can't hear them, that's a problem.
So everyone else can hear me fine, correct?
You break up a little every once in a while, but not bad.
Okay. Brad's going to look over at out of character. I forgot his name now. I'm sorry. The cook,
Angrim.
Ingram, and she's gonna look at him and say, I agree with you. I give us answers. I expect them to make us start looking for what we need to find. Because what are we to learn if they give us the answers?
And Grace finally just like there's like a visible there's almost a literal snapping noise as she just like with both hands just towards the shrine like this like towards the altars like this is a shrine. This is a shrine. This is exactly the thing. This is a shrine. They weren't just not shrines when it was a long time ago. That's a shrine. Just fucking like half like start to even kind of puttering down a little bit, like all the energy is going into the wild gesturing with the arms towards the pile of rocks.
He looks and says, "This is a sacred place. It may have the word shrine attached to it now, but the problem is people think of building shrines, of tables with offerings, of symbols and statues.
I mean, do you really? Just continues kind of sinking a little bit, arms still cast like really dramatically forward, you know, hands splayed out. Like, if the point is to show the spirit respect, respect is respect. Times change. A shrine is a shrine. Even if you don't want to call it one, that's still a shrine.
People worship in different ways. Erica just shrug and just nod respectfully. I will just nod,
That's true.
start walking off.
Grace finally sinks far enough to land on her butt.
And Angrim chuckles and he says, "The problem is that the value is too often, correlated to its appearance instead of to its meaning."
I second that.
Did he? She like gestures after Eric. Did he say anything about gold gilded statues, or did he just ask about what she expected building a shrine to show respect to Fenrir? Why are we having a lesson about how to not do it instead of just how to do it? Trying to make it sound like people didn't used to make shrines. We've always made shrines. Even humans used to make shrines.
Angrim chuckles a little bit and says, "Indeed, there's always something to worship." He chuckles a little bit and he says, "But a shrine for a get should not be just a place of offerings. You do not just give to the spirits. Sometimes you have to challenge them. Sometimes," he turns and chuckles, he says, You show the spirits what you're made of. And it shows the rest what you're made of, too.
You're
Let the
still
other guru know your value.
you're still talking about it like you had a certain way to go about it. He came to ask how to do it. It sounds like you're chastising us for doing it wrong when we haven't even started.
I guess I'm not getting the same message. I don't think we were being chastised. At least not about the shrine. I mean, if I'm wrong, I heard it's more of we rely too much on totems and spirits.
Which yet again doesn't answer how do we go about properly making a shrine.
He gestures to the portal and he says, well, I'd say we have one here. If you wish to establish your own, maybe ask the ones on the other side. I'd be happy to take you.
I'm curious to find out. I'm willing to go.
Grace rolls a look back to see how far Eric's gotten.
I still walking.
The Angrim raises his voice a little bit and he says, Eric, get a Fenris.
Looks like casually over his shoulder.
You've spoken of the old ways, and you know the old stories. How much did Odin give for wisdom and knowledge?
Odin is a traitor.
He chuckles a little bit and he says, the first Odin, the spirit, not the usurper that stole his name. He picks up the crystal and he throws it to you.
Yeah, Eric could catch it.
Inside you can see an eye.
If I lose an eye, look up, and your sacrifice is valid. But if I lose an eye, that could be the life and death of a different. That could be the difference between an enemy slain or a foe, an ally slain.
He turns and he says, I didn't say anything of your eye. I speak only of the weight of sacrifices given for knowledge. You came and you asked me for where shrines might be. I brought you to the one I do maintain and told you my opinion and my ways. I offer, and he gestures to the portal, a path for you to perhaps learn more of your own ways. Find your own path.
Ingram, it's not to interrupt. I do have one question because I'm willing to follow to the other side. But if before I go, would you be willing to tell us the tale on how you lost your eye?
He grins, and it's a kind of a cruel grin a little bit. And he says, there's a tale people wish to hear. than it can be told.
I mean, I can't say that I'm an expert on Odin, but I know at least from what I see in the movies, which is not real. But I am curious to know about your eye. I mean, I really want to know, was this a sacrifice on your end?
He turns and smiles again, and he looks towards air, and he says, "There are certain times when veils thin, borders weaken, and the worlds blur together. Some of these times are recognized and given names." He looks to the Fianna and he says, "Sowain, All Hallows Eve, Halloween, a time when the veils crumble, shred, and things bleed across. Some of those things have answers, some of them have knowledge. To them I called. I'd been a sorcerer at the time. Hedge magics. I knew the paths. I could cast the auguries, speak to spirits, and bind power into objects. But it wasn't enough. The city and the seps within it were crumbling. So I sought more knowledge. And I called deep. And I called when the veil was thin, and my call would be loudest. And prices were asked. Prices don't come cheaply, and they're not paid if they are coerced or forced upon you. The cost might be paid, but you didn't pay it yourself. I saw a great tree, and in that tree, chain and rope was hung. And from that chain and rope, I was hung. Beneath it, a pool formed. Did the spirits form it, or did someone else? I do not know. But by my hand was my eye given to the pool. And then, by my own spear, was my chest pierced, and my blood mingled into the pool. And in that blood I saw the runes and the ways, not just simple paths, but the threads, the Veerd or the Udur, the essence and fates of all things. And I reached out and I learned to touch them. And my fate had few paths there that did not end with me in the ground or in the flames. And so I chose the path that in my imperfect understanding would lead me elsewhere.
Nod. But the problem is, while your trials are one to be respected, even as a kinfolk, it is still to be respected. More so, in fact. Our enemy is out there. Gesture out. A worm. These civil wars. We need perhaps something that identifies with all of us. Not just one Get Fenris' view, or one Get Fenris kin view. We need a symbol. So when he points at the little bonar, points at the Fianna, points at three chord, when they look and ask, they see Grandfather Wolf. They know that that is him, and you and I and Air, and the sons and daughters that stand beside him. We need a symbol. That is what I came to seek, on how to create it. Not to gain the easy way, not to gain anything else. I know my whole life I've never asked for anything, and I never will. And that is what I want, a symbol. We need it.
He nods. And he says, I will not dispute that unification would be critical.
I would still take your lessons. But now we need all together. One sept, one people. And we start by showing the difference. Where they came from. It would make me pleased to see Grace build a shrine to her tribal totem, to Rat, to look over at three chord cockroach.
That's right.
Nods like, okay, I know about glasswalkers. Yeah. But that is the extent of what Eric knows about glasswalkers. I would be so that way when they'll come, they don't just face one tribe bereft in old ways, but they face many tribes in many ways. That is what we need. That is what I think Fenrir would to be a pack.
I have to admit, a lot of this
Looks
is new to me. Mostly, I honor the spirits with my acts and my songs. But I think it's a good idea that you have to build something to honor all of the tribal totems that are represented here at the Sept.
we build them together. That way, each blood, each hour of diligence, each hour of time is together. So when we face the Magnusons and their ilk in battle in the shield wall, we each have spilled blood and together. Otherwise we'll just die as It's forgotten bits of individuals. At least if we do die, we die as a brotherhood.
So it seems to me that there's two parts of this. So there's the building the physical shrine, or if that's what we're going to call it, which seems like they could be called by many names. But the physical aspect and then the spiritual aspect. And unless I'm missing something terribly, it seems like Angram is preparing to show us the spiritual bit to link to the physical bit. Am I anywhere near where we're supposed to be?
I think we are. We just need to make sure that we have both in balance.
Lucas looks over at Angram and kind of, did I summarize that right?
He kind of nods, and then he looks to Eric and he says, and in your vision, where the shrine is built to rat and to cockroach and to these other totems, we build a shrine to all totems in one shrine, a shrine that honors all of them in their own way.
Is a bit of a nose wrinkle.
Or in your vision, do we each keep our own?
We each keep our own. To blend them in is to blend them all into one will be complicated. Each two are their own, but in the same area. As a theurge would have different shrines to travel to, each may pass by. Each may be able to go to the separate shrines. A Fianna could walk to the shrine of Fenrir, the same way as a Fenrir could walk to the shrine of Rat. But each are there, and each can be seen for what they are.
He nods and he waves his hand, and the portal closes. And he says, then we have a different path to walk. And I can take you to its mouth. It is up to you to go from there.
Just nods, like, gives an appreciative nod, like, thank you, like, okay. Then I will follow.
And he will turn to the rest of the group. Is our new get going to walk up at this point, or you want to?
Yeah, she'll walk up.
He'll nod and say, it seems our gathering has attracted more interest as well.
Runa will give a polite nod. I am Runa Sorensen, born of the Get of Fenris, under the Philodox moon. I saw the gathering and was curious. Am I interrupting?
The poor chick comes
Derek.
up and introduces herself even half properly, and Grace just like thrusts a hand out like this magnificent bitch, essentially, like the most over the top gesture, like duh, see, because she's petty, so petty. Just like yes, that. She'll even proceed to like hop herself up, scramble up, suddenly renewed with energy. Stick out a hand.
Runa will take it.
Grace O'Connell, Hamid-born, Ragabash, Fianna, Cleith. A little bit of a nod, a little bit of handshake.
Nice to meet you.
Lucas nods over. I'm Lucas Three Quarts, Metis Galliard of Cockroach.
Nice to meet you as well. She looks a little... She looks like she's never seen a Metis before.
Lucas
Up
laughs
close.
because I get that a lot.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude.
No worries.
Rat's gonna introduce herself and say that I'm Rat Eva Wagner. I am Gilliard and I'm a Bonar. You can't see from my clothes, you know, and my patchwork vest and pants and worn shoes and my dyed hair and yeah,
I wouldn't want
I don't
to
have no.
assume, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure. I've learned quickly that I should show respect, especially in the audience of individuals here. So I I do so. Oh, and I also am of Metis.
Oh, I see.
Eric
Not of my own
on
choice.
turn. What? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. Those are one
Oh,
line.
yeah. Eric turns, for the new get. He has a lot of get pure breed. He's a big guy. He walks up to her, sniffs the air, and extends the hand.
She'll take it.
Gives the big, the warrior clasp, right at the elbow.
Oh, yeah, she'll clasp his elbow back.
Pulls her in. Eric Ulrichsen, known to the nation as Howlhammer, born on 2 legs, clear to the nation and Modi of the Get of Fenris.
It is an honor to meet you.
And you?
Me? I am Runa Sorensen, born of the Get of Fenris, under a Philodox moon. I have yet to complete my rite of passage.
You are a cub.
For the time being, yes.
He actually smiles like, ha ha! Good. It's this type of smile. Then you will need to come on this lesson, little one.
If this is a lesson, then I will happily join in.
Wonderful. Just nods, gives her the pat. Suddenly he's he was very stoic, and then suddenly he's incredibly fatherly.
She doesn't quite know what to make of this turn, but
It's like, oh yeah, no, let her Fenrir Cleave. I have to. Oh, she's a baby, and puts his arm around her like, hey. Oh.
All right. Ian Grimlin turns and he says, as he's walking, he says, the sept here is the sept of riddling waters. With a totem such as Sea Dragon in the east who accepts others, it has its own uniqueness already. As he walks, he turns a corner, or kind of weaves through some lowlands and stuff. And he stops and says, this is the path that many do not seem to know in this sept. He gestures, and there's a kind of a stone formation. It looks like it's fairly naturally formed, but it's a stone. Looks reminiscent of a dragon head. And from behind it, a spring wells up, and the creek kind of runs out towards the bay. It's fairly wide, but he gestures and he says, "The path of the dragon's spine. If you look carefully, you can see the stones in the center of the creek. I do not know any guru here who have walked it, although I do know one Get who walked it in the past. When I walked it, I saw answers, but I was looking for different questions than you are.
Then I shall walk.
He says that seems a good start. But did you not just mention a place where stag, cockroach, and rat also were relevant?
Look over his shoulder. Are you all not coming with me?
Oh, I thought that was understood.
This is just kind of a gesture. The day I'm not game to jump stones, well, I just wouldn't be myself.
To look back. And we do it together then. Each find a place.
And
Smirking.
Grim grins and he says, if you always assume they will follow, you'll carefully and at the worst possible moment find yourself in a battle with no one at your back. He nods and he says, they call these sept-riddling waters, and no one really knows why. But this is the stream of the riddling dragon. And while it twists back on itself, so too does a serpent twist. The stones run its length, but it's the islands I think will be most relevant to you.
Look behind him, back at the figure standing there. If I was to be alone, then I would have failed them. You just start, look it, starts walking.
Rat's going to keep looking around for Ire. She's not going to go until she can find Ire, so.
At this point, you can assume she's following. She's dealing with some technical issues.
Well, if she's doing that, then Rat's going to go.
Out of character, do we have pack mind speak?
For your pack, yes.
Right, okay.
Which currently would be 2 of the 5 of you.
Alright, yeah, Lucas follows along.
Alright. So you guys are going to work your way down the spire, or down the spine stones.
Yes.
I am going to need some Dex athletics checks.
Oh, goody.
Okay.
Let's see.
Standard diff.
Yes. At this point.
Lucas drops into Lupus.
Rat's gonna go to crino form.
Let's see.
Yeah, Grace will totally let Eric go first because he is the head of this ridiculous operation of rock hopping. But she will be happily bouncing along rock to rock behind him.
And it's about to roll now.
Oh. Runa comes along with the rest pretty nicely.
Alright. Good lord. Dustin, are you being the victim of a B&E right now?
I can't find. Yeah, I'm trying to find the symbol I need here. Trying to guard. Okay, there we go.
Just, it literally sounded like furniture was being, like, flipped wherever you were.
Oh no, it's my laptop. I'm using the laptop, so I picked it up so I could read it
Gotcha.
before I say it. What? Oh, sorry.
Alright, so you guys are working your way down. It's not too long before you come to a one of these small islands that was referenced. It's big enough you could probably get 8 or 10 people. It's probably 15 feet across, maybe 10 feet long. On it, unusually, is there's a couple of larger trees. Roll me a perception. Do primal urge or survival.
All right.
Everybody who's there.
John, can you say that again? Because you broke up on me. Perception what?
Perception and survival.
Okay.
Or primal urge if you're in lupus.
Survival.
Would uncanny instincts work in this case?
Yes. And while you guys are rolling, I'm going to give Holly a catch up. So, Eric basically told Angrim that he envisioned a place where all the tribes would have their own place to honor their totem, but they would be somewhere near one another so that they could pay respect to others as well if they wished. A new Get introduced herself, and through the discussion of what Eric hoped to accomplish, Angrim led him to, and by extension the group, to a place where there is a stone, natural stone formation that kind of looks like a dragon head. And from behind it, a large stream runs. In the center of that stream, there's stones that run the length of it, like a spine. And he informed them that that was the sacred place of the Sept totem, and would be the to walk that path is to gain some insight and enlightenment, and that might be the best course of action, which Eric then has led the groups down those stones to the first of a number of islands as this creek kind of winds along.
Okay.
So you guys have reached the first island and are making, or can make, perception survival or perception primal urge if you're in Krynos or in Lupus. I guess I should have clarified Krynos as well.
Oh, okay.
It is a scent-based check. So if you are in Krynos and you may have survival, you can make
Okay.
the other one.
Okay.
Potentially
So
scent-based.
survival.
Yes, if you're in Hamid.
Okay, well, I certainly haven't, because but I seem to be able to hear just fine. Start. Four, 5, standard diff.
Yes.
I have 3. Oh, dang! Too bad I didn't have a specialty. I don't have 4 either. That would have been awesome. 3 successes.
All right. Looks like everyone had at least one success. Jade, did we get you into the rolls?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with it, or did you have any questions?
No, I'm somewhat familiar with it. I don't use it very often, so it takes me a minute for the dice codes. But I am Pixie Cat in the rolls room.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like everybody had at least one success. So, you guys would notice that it's a fairly well-established. It looks like a bedding ground. There's, you can see some rabbit dens, some bedding areas for deer, that sort of thing. It's definitely a place of like a sanctuary for prey animals. And near the center, there's a couple of like stag skulls, and the antlers are interlocked. And now I will need a perception primal urge. This will be a 7. Six for Fiona.
Yay. I spend willpower on this one.
Yes,
Does
you can.
does uncanny instincts work for this one?
No.
Okay.
I missed it. What are we rolling?
That is a perception primal urge, difficulty 7.
Okay.
And I'm finding the book that I thought I had open and apparently closed. Don't you love when that happens?
Diff 7 regardless of form, or -2 for lupus?
Regardless.
Okay.
So perception primal urge at 7, you said?
Know what I just did here.
Holly, I didn't catch what you said.
Here we go again. What?
I didn't catch what you said.
I said perception primal urge regardless of form at 7, you said?
Correct.
Oh. Well, that sucks.
I think I go into a different book. Bear with me a minute. I thought it was in the one I had. It was not. Anyone else feel like White Wolf does a terrible job organizing their books?
What are you looking for?
I totally agree.
I'm a reference librarian. Their indexes make my eyes bleed.
Yeah, true.
Index is a very loose term.
Uh-huh.
I say, depending if it's the kind of stuff I think it is, you probably want Access Mundi.
Yeah, that's. I was hoping it was in. I thought they had it updated in Velvet Shadow, but apparently
Oh,
not.
no, of course not.
Can't make it easy. Alright, for my own sanity. I don't think I have sanity if I'm using the old White Wolf books, but you have to be insane to do that. Alright. So we had not everyone succeed, I believe. Air did not
Yeah,
succeed.
double
That
botch.
was a double botch.
Yes, it was.
Oh, you had
It's
to
par
do
for
it,
the
didn't
course
you?
tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Um, well, so you guys all start to sense the presence of a couple of different spirits. Um, as you do, uh, Air seems to. You're not sure if she slipped sideways or was pulled sideways, but you guys can tell that she ends up going sideways. The rest of you do sense the spirit of the brook. There's a couple spots where you can kind of sense the spirit of dawn making a presence.
Via pack mind speak. Air, are you all right?
You are now in the Umbra, Air.
Yeah. I think.
Okie dokie.
She kind of she just uncept in the Umbra somewhere. Completely unfamiliar.
You're in a reflection of the island, where there were the two stag skulls caught together on the other side. On this side, there is a. You can actually see it's a black stag and a white hart, and their antlers are locked together.
Okay.
And I imagine everyone notices she slips, but Grace seems reasonably distracted once she's kind of gotten a feel for the place. And I mean, she's no Thairge, but she knows her tribal brood. She's familiar with it. So she, once she gets to the interlocked skulls, starts kind of fiddling with her fingertips, touching each one with a thumb, mumbles a little something, and finally pulls a small little dirk of a knife out, pricks a fingertip, and squeezes out 3 drops of blood. Just kind of a rhythmic, like it's one of those things that happens so quickly and so smoothly. It's obviously like a practiced little just prayer and offering.
And you get as you do the you kind of catch just a glimpse of the other side of the white hart and the black stag kind of locked together in conflict. And then it fades back. If you would like to make a wits enigmas, feel free.
Ooh, I will see if I can. I think I have enigmas. I do.
Air, you can, but it's going to be a difficulty of 8.
All right.
Yeah, if once Eric realizes Air is gone, he's like, "Oh shit!" Looks around. Where is the Thairge?
She's fine. She's on the other side.
Am I doing standard diff?
Yes.
It was diff 8, correct?
It is for you, yes.
Yeah. Oh, par for the course. Nothing.
That's it looks like 2 successes for Grace.
Yes.
So you would recognize the obviously the black stag is Stag's fury, whereas the white heart is kind of supposed to be the opposite. A lot of times he serves as the bait, but he is also kind of the young innocent, the youth. So you get this feeling of rage and peace that it's kind of battling within itself too.
Do I have any sense that this should alarm me, or is this just kind of that natural, like, this is what happens when those two would be close to each other?
You kind of get the sense that this is just a natural reflection that this, and it's kind of reminiscent of what you've heard going on in the city, is that these groups are conflicting with each other and they've kind of locked themselves in this endless conflict. And your tribe, unfortunately, has been just kind of dragged into it, trying to keep the peace.
Yeah, so for the moment of insight, at least, she does a little thing and kind of glances at them and then glances up at all the nothing that, I guess anyone else would see in front of her, and kind of gets this weird quirk of a dopey grin, because, oh, shit. And yeah, it just kind of looks kind of doofy, not gonna lie. Because, how often does she get to see spirits from the Tellurian? That never fucking happens.
Clicks his fingers in front of her face.
What? Who? What? Does like that little I know karate, I've been startled. Like, what? Who?
Right.
You were staring.
Yeah. Yep. Just staring. I know where I'm planning mine.
Oh yeah, fancy that.
Not that I suppose really needs any building. It's kind of all here. Kind of looks around herself.
I see.
Yeah, you got rabbit dens over there. You got hoof prints in the mud over there. Yeah.
Then it is a good place for you to start.
Yeah, I still gotta find your stuff. And we've gotta find
One thing at a time.
here. Kind of glances around.
She is on the other side. She's doing what Fearges do best, which is get lost. Nod sagely.
There's a snicker. Not gonna lie. I'm not used to being outdone. Ruffles are here. Holy shit. She kind of glances around at the water. Is all of it moving?
Yeah, it's a pretty steady stream.
Ugh. Might be a bitch to get back across, though.
We will do it.
Can't someone just reach in and pull her back?
You need still water. You need something that stays reflective. So moving water, not so good. This, on the other hand, she pops the knife back out. Totally works.
And she actually steps back from her side.
Oh shit!
You see? It's past her shoulder.
Slowly puts knife back in sheath. Like I wasn't doing it.
That is why Erica is like, that is why you are a Ragabush, and she is a third. Sage nods, taps her nose, taps his nose.
Back.
Did you win?
I don't know if I'd say that, but forces that be decided I needed to be there, and now I'm back again.
Did you see him? Sidles over.
See him? Yeah, black stag.
Yeah. Points towards the interlock
I
skull.
did. And she kind of looks at him now that she's over here. That I did.
Looking wild. So, I mean, do we, like, glance over Eric, do we stop? Do we just keep going to see which ones are where?
We keep going. We've only just found one.
Firm nod.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so if you continue on, it will be a Dex Athletics diff 7. As the creek's starting to move a little faster, and I.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's what Brett said. He's not bad.
Dice, please like me this time.
Oh yeah,
Good.
I'm good at that.
Well,
Aha! 1. Yeah. Actually, wait, no. If it's diff 6, it's 2, but if it's diff 7, it's 1. Yeah. Haha. If the cob is failing, though, I will donate one of my successes to like fucking
I think you only have
bear
the one.
tackler. I will sacrifice myself then for the cob, man.
What are you gonna just drag her up and fall in the water instead?
Yeah.
You ever seen
Crap.
like when someone goes to save someone, like grabs their hand, pulls them up, pulls too hard, falls in the water?
Oh no.
Oh no, he's just like, he's like, get out of the way.
Right.
Falls.
Come on.
All right, we got a couple there. Well, the cub would slip towards the water. And it looks like the Fiona slips towards the water as well.
So, which one of the two is closest to air? Or slipping for the water?
I'll totally let people save the cub. You can say she's closer to whoever.
Well, air is going to reach out and grab one of the two, whoever's closer. If it's Grace, so be it.
Yeah,
She's willingly volunteered.
All right.
Just this beautiful squawk, like, oh, boss!
I'll donate I'll donate my 6 single success to save one of them as well for the cub. Fuck it.
All right. So Eric grabs for the cub and he gets her up onto the rocks, but then he slips into the creek.
Yeah.
And It's moving. It moves fairly quick. It's washes you down a little ways. If you want to roll a Dex Athletics to try to grab a hold of something, you can.
Sure.
All right, you're able to grab a hold of a branch, and as you pull yourself in, there's actually a raccoon sitting there, and he looks at you, and you see he's holding something in his hands, like he's some sort of food, and he looks at you and he says, "I'm trying to wash my food here, friend."
Okay. So Eric's like power fuck. He's like, I'm trying to eat my food here. And he's like, oh, pardon me. I am merely regaining my footing. I will be done momentarily. Then he turns away and then looks back. You know, that kind of like the fucking record scratch. He turns back. You are talking.
He the raccoon gestures and he says, "There's a shallow spot over there that you can climb out if you wish."
Thank you. Yes, I awkwardly climbs off like, oh, okay.
So the rest of you guys see Eric climb up on an island. It's not the next island in front of you, but the one beyond that.
Finally, stands up all victorious, like, ha, I'm alive. Oh, fuck, Jesus. waves at the group, like, I'm fine.
Right.
So it's up to you if you guys want to head up to meet up with Eric or stop off at this island in between.
Was there any need to sniff around on
It is
this
the island in
before we
between.
move on?
You can if you want.
Might as well. Was it Wits and Primal?
Yes, or wits and survival, whichever you wish.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm checking out this other island too. We know that Eric's okay, so that's good.
I smell exactly nothing.
So you want wit survival? Is that what you said,
Or primal urge, whichever you wish.
One success.
Lucas, did you just triple botch that?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy.
He becomes the smell.
I smell tacos.
Well, no, the bigger problem is that you'll kind of be you're slightly overwhelmed as you pretty much stumble between two trees and find yourself nose to nose with an owl sitting on a lower branch. And And there's a what look to be hawk feathers to the side as well, under a nest.
So I kind of back up a little bit.
The owl just blinks at you, but you do see the shadow of either a hawk or a falcon as its hops between branches above you.
Is he hopping aggressively, or is he just kind of hopping over to get a better look at what the hell we're doing?
Seems to be more getting a look at you, more than anything.
All right, given the scope of what we've been doing and what happened at the last island, I'll relay this over to Air and Mindspeak.
So I said that island in between two being as Eric was, you can see Eric was fine.
Lucas kind of gives because Lucas is in Lupus right now, he gives them both kind of a respectful Lupus nod.
Alrighty.
Or whatever the appropriate Lupus action would be. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Air would... Shit, with three of them. You would pick up on signs that number of owls, hawks, and falcons use this island as a roosting area.
Oh. Owls and hawking.
So it's up to you guys what you wish to do with that. You're on an island that has got falcons, hawks, and owls.
Okay, falcons, hawks, and owls now. Okay.
Correct. Well, between the three of you, that's or two of you, that's what you guys figured out. Three of you, sorry.
Okay.
There was a couple of ones in there.
Out of character, are hawks or owls any tribal totems? I know falcon is.
Yes, owl is.
Owl is for which tribe?
Strider.
Silent Strider.
Okay.
Hawk is also related to Silverfangs as well. Related to
Yep.
House Gleaming Eye.
Oh. So
Rad's gonna start looking around for eagle. See if there's any eagles around too.
You don't see any here, but that's not to say there couldn't be.
Are any of the birds kind of paying anybody any attention?
Well, I mean, the owl is giving Lucas a hairy eyeball when they end up nose to nose, but that's about it.
Lucas, as gracefully as he can, nods again and bows out and starts heading towards the other island.
Yeah, Grace is very not helpfully puttering around and just being like, "Ooh, lucky feather." That is the extent of her helpfulness on this island.
Give the birds a nod of respect.
All right. Then you guys are just continuing on.
Another Dex Athletics to get to the next island.
Yes, this one will also be
is
a
there
set.
anything?
Sorry. Dex Athletics 7 if you're headed to the next island. And what was your question?
Was there anything like else of significance on the this island? Like obviously the owls and the hawks and the falcons, but
They were using it as like a nesting area primarily.
all right.
Jesus.
Yeah, Lucas is going for a swim.
No, you're not, Lucas. I got you with my 6 successes.
It's on to the next island.
I got you, bro.
That's okay. I'm eating shit again.
Nope. I'll grab you.
We are the best at this. Grace just
Hang
looks
on.
down at her ankles like I'm fucking betrayed.
Yeah, Lucas starts to stumble a bit, and I'll donate the success. Eric just catches him by the back of the car and just lifts him up, going, "Ha ha! Got you."
Yep. Onto the island, I suppose. Catch up with everybody.
All right.
Their piece.
So far we have Lucas falls in and Eric drags him out at the next island. Grace starts to go and gets saved at the last minute. And I'm still... Eric, did you roll or no?
What did you need me to roll?
There's Dex Athletics 7. It was right while you were still looking
Dex
for
Ath.
stuff.
Okay, that's why I missed it. Dex Athletics at 7. Okay. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I rolled it at 6, so it's probably 9. Oh, no, I had 1 still.
Yeah, so you make it too.
Okay.
So you guys are all on this island where Eric had been talking to a raccoon.
Oh. Is the
Oh, he's on
raccoon
the
still
next one
there?
down?
He's eating.
If they go over, Eric will like put a hand on like Grace is sort of going, "You'll interrupt his meal."
Air kind of digs around in her pockets for a coin. And she pulls out a shiny quarter and offers it to the raccoon.
Yeah, he'll take it and kind of chews on it a little bit, and then he kind of just shrugs and stashes it between two of the logs. And if you guys want to make your survival checks or whatnot, or you can make just a direct primal urge check here if you want.
Perception primal urge.
Yep.
Can I use
Standard?
cunning instincts? Oh, sorry.
Instincts would not be applicable here.
Okay.
Is it diff 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Should be 6.
I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay,
My-
either way, it would have been 3 successes, so.
Okay, if the difficulty is 6, then I got 2 successes.
Hey, John, was it -2 for lupus for this one?
No.
Okay.
John, how quickly is the river going between these islands?
It's fairly quick. I mean, it's going to carry you away if you fall in, certainly.
Is it clear or is it sort of murky?
It's clear but dark.
Huh.
All right. I think I've got everybody here. So everybody had at least one success. The island here, there's a lot of rats and raccoons, scavengers, that sort of thing. A lot of insects as well. Also a lot of kind of not really garbage, but to some degree, like litters or leftover, that sort of thing. So there's pieces of broken, like 2x4 and stuff, like things that were actually built, have washed up here. There's small bits of electronics, and a lot of spider webs everywhere as well.
So Rat's going to run over and check out the litter to see if there's anything potentially useful or anything that can be used as a weapon.
Oh, there's a 2x4 with nails in it.
What about the electronics? What are the electronics?
A lot of bits and pieces. It's, like a
Okay.
busted cell phone, that sort of thing.
Oh, that'll work. She'll pick it up and put it in her pocket. And then she'll go over to the rats there and offer the piece of meat that she didn't finish eating so that they can eat it.
Okay.
And she will speak in rat to them.
All right.
Giving greetings and respect.
And they,
And Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, she's gonna thank them for, allowing her to be in their presence. So.
Are there? You said there are a bunch of insects. I'm assuming there's going to be like a cockroach nest or something. I don't know.
Cockroaches, centipedes. There's some spiders, that sort of thing.
So Lucas shifts back up into Hamid, takes his axe and cuts the palm of his hand and kind of drains some blood on the cockroaches, and then does a quick ad hoc song of honor for a cockroach.
They'll kind of chitter around and, they acknowledge it, but then they kind of scurry off as well.
Before they leave, Rat's gonna let them know that she would like to come back and visit and talk to them.
All right. As you guys are, I assume, heading to the next island, everybody give me a perception alertness as well.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. Does instincts work on this one?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, they're swinging a miss for air.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, zero's better. Yes.
Oh, I got 4 successes. Yeah.
All right. Everybody with successes would notice the one of the raccoons has almost like a little altar type thing built out of trash that he's been piling up. Piece together electronics, that sort of thing.
So Rat's gonna go approach the altar, and she's going to leave the cell phone with the little altar that is over there.
All right.
Out of character, I don't know if Lucas should be doing anything at this little altar or not.
He doesn't have to. She took note of it. He did give an offering already, so.
Okay.
All right. Then you guys are moving on to the next.
Yes, I believe so.
All right. So You can see there's about one more good-sized island, and then after that, the rest of them are kind of foot or individual, like single-person type. To get to the last one here, or the last major one, roll a Dex Athletics 8.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, Jeebus.
Oh boy.
Okay. Oh, I got 2, yeah.
Alright, looks like everybody made it. The hardest one, and everyone makes it. So you guys end up, as your feet hit this last island, you notice that a lot of the stones here have frost on them.
Cool.
It's windier here, definitely. Seems a little bit overcast, kind of, as well.
Okay.
Cold and overcast. Okay.
Eric will just finally nod like, yes. I know what this means.
Right?
Turns and looks at the cub, like, lifts her up by the, like, do you feel that?
Yeah, it's cold.
Yes.
Here kind
Looks
of
at her, like,
runs her
intensely,
hand over one of the frosty stones.
It is the frozen north, little one.
Where Fenrir lives.
Yes! Like, I locked them.
The island kind of almost forms like a small bowl. Very slightly depressed in the center. Edges are slightly raised up. And if you guys want to roll me your perception primal urge.
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking,
Yes.
I'm gonna spend a willpower on this.
Yeah, I'm spending one too. Oh, I'm glad I spent that willpower.
Woo woo. Does instincts work on this one, just in case?
It does not.
Damn it. Okay.
Are we missing one?
Mm,
Well, we are down a person.
We are.
Yep,
Lucas dropped
Anthony
them.
had to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. All right. So everyone got at least one success. It looks like.
Mhm.
So, um,
Wait, wasn't there someone who didn't get a success?
was there?
I spent a willpower because I have a
Right.
prior to rolling, so
Yep.
it's an auto success.
What about
No, I
what
didn't
about
get
Grace
shit.
though? Yeah, Grace didn't get
No.
anything.
That's cool. I will just ignore the results.
Oh, fair enough. All right. So everyone else, you get the feeling of hunting and just like kind of a survival sense here. Um, definitely some bones on the ground, small ones. Fairly well picked clean, and you notice a number of crows sitting in the up in the trees around the edges, kind of looking down in. Um, patches of white fur are left behind as well.
Rat's gonna check her body and make sure it's not her fur that she lost.
It is not. In fact, some of you will recognize this. Actually, I don't think Rat went with you, Air, but Air, you would recognize the fur as similar to the Fimble wolves that ran with Fenrir when you encountered him.
Yes.
Must have been a different kind because I remember encountering Fenris. So.
Okay. Then you would have remembered. I couldn't remember if
Yeah.
you were there or not. So,
Oh, I was there
Yeah.
because that's where Air made me, get into a fight and kill somebody. Yeah,
I would
Chuckle.
never do that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, as we look around, with the younger cub, Eric will gesture with his hand for her to like follow him, and
She will.
as he kneel down where all the fur is and the bones and all this and the ravens, he'll look over at her.
She'll kneel
These
down
are
beside him.
the raven, Hafran, fur, its great father, you see, or at least one of his servants.
One of
place
his
is the land.
servants, most definitely.
Does he have many?
We are all his servants in ways. We are his warriors. We are the ones who he calls when blood needs letting. And justice needs doing.
She'll nod.
You especially. You are the judge. She is the moon. And I am fury.
Justice is.
Air nods.
Justice is everything.
It's always been important to me.
Then make it part of your blood. Judgment. And the righteous fury of that judgment will be your dealing. He will watch you with scales in his jaws, and if you fail, Just nod, then you will know it.
I have no intention of failing.
Good.
There is a horrible injustice from my past that I must correct.
You just nod, like, okay. Ain't gonna question that shit. But you will have to concentrate on more than just your own justice.
I know.
Not yet. You smile and tap her cheek. First, you must pass.
When I'm ready. And she looks... She looks like a pouty, petulant teenager when she says that.
He looks down at her when you're ready to take it.
I'm ready now.
No, you're not.
She raises an eyebrow at him.
There's a slow lean. It's the pouty lip. Slowly leans straight upright again. Edges a couple feet away. Get out of a rune reach.
You are still too petulant to be ready. Pats her on the head like, yeah. Nice try.
She blows a stray lock of hair out of her face. Fine.
But feel the ice on your fingers. Feel it. You will need his strength for the coming days.
She'll put her hand on the ground and dig it into the frost.
It seems we have found our places.
It does seem that way.
Did you guys look ahead? There's a among the or between the rocks and the islands. You see a long ship, a small long ship, kind of coming up to the island. As it gets close, the brew that is relatively, well, I think one of you knows him.
Huh? Oh, I know him.
But do you know?
As the long ship pulls up, he is standing there. And he gestures. and Veronica is with him.
Okay, that's how it gets fit in. Okay.
Correct.
Yep.
And he says, Angrim said you were walking the spine. I took a guess that you would reach this far. When I found this island, it was shrouded in storm clouds, and thunder rolled with snow. Many who walk the spine end here, as the stones taper off to shore. But there's another part that not many have found. Angrim didn't know of it. If you wish to see the end of the spine, then join me. And he makes room in the boat for so everyone can join him. And he says,
Here we'll
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I can wait.
He gestures and he says, this one, however, should set foot on this island, for as most of the islands on the spine, none of them are dedicated to just one. All hold places for two, if not more.
You're gonna feel like a tiny sleeve tug. Dink, dink, dink. Just slow lean over. The dramatically brought up hand as she whispers, "Who the fuck is that?" This is why introductions are important.
Oh,
My 10-parent would beat everybody here. He had a giant stick. It was ridiculous. But no, seriously, who the fuck is that?
Are you being
one
discreet,
of
or
our
is this
tribe,
like a
and she'll motion
stage whisper?
between Eric and her name is Runa. Is that what?
See?
Yes.
Yes.
And this
She'll,
is
she'll motion between Eric and Runa and herself, and she'll say he's one of ours.
that's not enough. Ranks are important. Auspices are important. That's all important. That's why we're supposed to say it. Who it is.
Eric is just like, forgive me, I do not know your name, my friend.
I earned my fun. And it was only so subtle as in, like, it's obvious that she was leaning in and whispering. She just wasn't, like, yelling the whisper. But, I mean, it was obvious she was being a fucking troll. And then Eric just asks, and the hand kind of flops down. She's like, oh.
Out of game, you are a Fianna. Of course you'd be a troll.
Yes.
He turns to the group and he says, my apologies, spending time in mixed company, I get sloppy sometimes with my manners. Excuse me. He says, my name is Marcus Steele. I was born in an odd circumstance, a long birth between two moons, the gibbous and the half. I'm a son of Fenrir born on two legs. And John needs to find his notes. I don't remember what his rank was.
I think it was even disclosed when few time acted.
No, because it was always informal.
Yep.
It's gotta be here somewhere. There it is. Not that one, that's one that's not updated. There. He says, I am an Adrin of the Fenrir. And if the Get of Fenris want to roll, or anyone who has Get of Fenris lore, you may roll it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I update get approved,
Intelligence.
John?
Yeah. Or
Yes, intelligence and Get of Fenris lore. Standard difficulty.
John, did I get approved for my sheet downtime?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
the dice hate me.
So does your computer.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yay! I got one success out of game.
Do I have to get lore? I don't know if I
I'm going to assume actually that probably almost everyone here has Get lore.
Might as well get it.
I think the only one who doesn't is Fiona. And she might, I don't, just in check.
But get Lord? No.
do. Nope. I can just do Geru lore, but that would be it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, what I got to roll?
No, I forgot you. I don't know why I was thinking you had it, but
Yeah,
you probably have grounds to get it. Get lore if you want.
true.
But all right. Well, for everyone else who's rolled Get lore, let's see. We got 1, 4, 1. Did we get a Get lore from Eric?
Oh, oops, I forgot.
Intelligence plus Get lore.
Oh, okay. I think yes, it is. Oh, I did the wrong thing. So use ruling. 10. I fail.
Ouch.
Sadly, so I don't get anything. I fail.
All right. Well, for the three of you who did succeed, you notice that he uses the older name for the tribe, referring to himself as a Fenrir, and then the modern Get of Fenris.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Air doesn't really think too much on it, considering where she initially met him.
Gestures and says, "For those who wish to see the end of the spine, we can take the boat."
Out of game, what is he referred to with the spine? I don't know if I missed-
He would have told you as he was taking you that these other guru were walking. Basically, it's a path of stones that runs down the middle of a very large creek, and it's known as
Okay.
the spine of the dragon.
Okay.
The island that you got to, I will need a perception primal urge from you. They were already on the island.
Eric just shrugs and just walks past and just gets in the fucking boat like, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
Air
says-
will kind of smile at Marcus and step on the boat as well.
Looks
Actually
back at
did
the
a space, but it's like 3 successes. Or 2.
looks back
2
looks back at
successes.
the cub and be like, "Girl, get on the boat."
Yeah,
Sits down.
shopping.
Rat's gonna follow Air onto the boat.
Completely graceless scramble onto the boat. Tunk.
Alright, so Ray gets on the boat. Did we get our... That's right there.
2 successes for primal urge roll.
Alright. So, you would sense a number of storm spirits. There's storm crows.
Ooh.
You get a mix of like winter storms and traditional like thunderstorms.
That is really odd, but that does have our attention.
It kind of seems like a place where perhaps Get and Shadow Lords, although they may clash and conflict, did so honorably.
This has her immediate attention and it intrigues her. Do the storm crows look like they're doing anything, or are they going towards something?
Right now, they're just kind of watching. So you weren't here for the description of the island, but it's kind of like a big bowl. Frozen, frost-covered stones in the middle. There's small bones scattered about. There's some white fur that's been left there. You would recognize it. I think you went with when they ran into Fenris.
Yes, and
So these would have been the fur of the Fimble wolves that ran with Fenris.
okay.
So you just kind of get this sense of a place where maybe mutual respect and honorable conflict occurred.
Out of game, I have a hunch that might be why Petrus was gone.
But the everyone else is kind of in the boat, and Marcus will gesture, and he'll and he says, "Along the spine are islands sacred to many totems, but no island is sacred to just one totem, because that is part of the sea dragon's approach. Is that everything is stronger together than that. We all have different sides we don't always see, or reflections in others that we don't acknowledge." And if everyone climbs in the boat, he will then begin riding or rowing out to further out into the bay. It's probably a good couple hundred yards out of the off the coast as he pulls up to another island. It's real low and flat. In fact, that's probably why you couldn't see it from the coast. But it's shaped like a spear pointing out into the ocean. And he says, "This is the end of the spine. The stones continue as columns underground or underwater until they reach the tip of the tail here." On this side, the tip of the spine is pretty mild, pretty bland. On the other side, however, this simple stone serves as something more.
Hey, John, can I attempt to sense worm?
You can.
Okay. Just be 1 second here. I'm just trying to figure out what I have to roll for it.
Perception occult.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
John, is the tail supposed to be a dragon's tail? Since it looks like a spear.
Yeah, this is the tip, so that the whole river looks like a dragon when seen from above, like a serpent-style dragon.
That's awesome.
Okay.
John, I got 4 successes. And if I can use instincts, then I'd have much more. So.
It'll allow it. It won't. There's no sign of the worm out here.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. looks down and he says, off this spear from the umbral side, you can access realms almost untouchable. It says, off the tip of the spear is the fastest path that reaches the Lake of Silver. I wouldn't recommend that trip. It's not pleasant. Should one exit the spear along the left-hand path, they enter the battleground. Also not the most enjoyable. Especially in a city known for its conflicts between Get. He gestures and he says, the right-hand side leads to a strange winterland. There's debate whether it's Winter's Lands of the Arcadian Gateway, or if it is the Fimbulwinter. Either way, it is not pleasant. He turns and he says, and last, but certainly not least, should we exit by some masochistic desire off the back of this spear, you will find yourself face to face with the Elder Serpent.
Oh.
I have once visited myself and heard tell of one other who visited from this point. The key of this island, of all these islands, is that nothing stands by itself. Everything is an intersection, a nexus. While I am no expert, certainly not a master, nor a scholar, I know tales of different alliances. Times when tribes work together. I can also tell the cautionary tale of when tribes tore themselves apart. More importantly, when I spoke with the Elder Serpent, he shared with me a rite long thought lost. Angrim tells me of your desire to create altars on each of these islands, shrines, what have you. I offer to aid this. Each of your altars will, once constructed, I will craft an earthbone at and anchor deep into the earth, tied to the very core of Gaia herself. Though not a cairn in and of themselves, they carry such power as a cairn. They will allow for a deeper connection to each of the totems. And they will aid those who come there to pay homage in worship.
Urquhart's nod, thankfully.
He turns and gestures to the boat. He says, "For any who wish to return here, now that you've been here, you should find it fairly easy to find. I recommend telling someone where you're going before you go, so when you don't come back, they know why."
Fair enough.
I find it telling, however, that at the very end of this path meant to give knowledge and enlightenment lies both one of the eldest spirits, or origins. We have conflict. We have, should it be the Fimbulwinter, the end. Either way, we have an end, winter. And we have punishment. What message lies within that, I don't know, but it's something certainly to ponder. Unless anyone has a burning desire to stay out here or make one of these leaps now, I'd be happy to take everyone ashore.
Out of game, Veronica will do more research before she goes into these other places.
Probably a wise decision.
Runa
But
will look to the other two get.
Air will kind of look back at her, noting that they're being looked at. Did you have a question?
Just wondering what you guys are gonna do.
I intend to learn a bit more before contemplating visiting these other places, but from the sounds of it, it's not recommended.
She'll nod.
Marcus gets back in the boat.
Rat never left the boat. She's still on the boat.
Runa will also get back in the boat.
All right. I think that would leave Air and Eric.
To leave Air. Who else?
I think Eric's still on the spear unless he got back in the boat and I missed it.
Get back in the boat.
Getting back in the boat, out of the game. I have an idea, Holly. I always keep getting ideas.
All right. Well, he will take you guys back to Sept then. Unless there was something else you guys wanted to do out on this little rock island.
Well, what is there on this rock island? I mean, besides, is there anything significant that?
Nothing on this side.
We'd have to go on the other side then. Okay.
Yeah, and you were kind of told the other side's not interesting until you step off one edge or the other.
Oh.
And that's where they get very interesting.
No, I'll stay in the boat.
All right, so everybody's riding back to Sept, and he just docks and lets everybody out.
Oh.
You do find Angrim there as well. And he asks how your walk went.
For me personally, I think the walk generated more questions than answers.
I have been enlightened somewhat.
He nods and then he looks over at Eric and he says, "And did you find what you were hoping to?"
Out of game, is he gone?
Hmm.
Oh, I see him. I see him on here.
Same here.
Tona, did we lose you?
That is from himself.
Hey, we can hear you.
Oh, wow, that was some lag.
Epic leg.
I don't know what happened there. I didn't catch a word of what you said, Tona. We actually thought you got dropped or something.
Hope he's still not lagging.
I'm with John. I'm not hearing anything.
Okay,
Oh, he got dropped.
yeah, there's the drop.
Boom.
And out of game, like you warned, he left without a trace. At the dragon's tail.
Bump. I can beat that out on my bongos.
Hey, you're back.
Okay. Am I still lagging?
Nope, now we're good.
Nope, we can hear you. Okay, now.
Cuckoo. He will just say, in some ways I have. In some ways I got more questions.
Interesting. Something like I just said.
But then again, look over and smirk at the metas. I was expecting as such. You always get it with Fenrir.
Well, it's never easy for us.
Nope. And that is why little wolf looked down at the cub.
She'll look at him.
Start running.
Yeah, no, yeah, she's gonna take off running.
You just start marching after her, going, run! You know, that type of, training essentially.
Good luck.
She'll wave as she's running. She's not looking back. She's just waving her arm, taking off. Still running.
All right, as they run off, Marcus and Ingram say, Ingram says to Marcus and to the rest of you guys, well, once you have established your shrines, we will certainly be happy to help.
Okay.
Brett just says that she needs to talk to Bacon Grease.
So we can each work on different tribal shrines. for each of our tribes out of game.
Yes, that's kind of was the.
Mhm.
Do we still have that dead Shadow Lord's head on a pike?
I'm sure it's around somewhere.
I'm tempted to rip her lower jaw off and use that as a part of the Grandfather Thunder Shrine. This is where tokens are collected.
Why rip the jaw off? Just put the whole head and open it up. So you can just put it in there.
Out of game, would that interfere with Eagle's Bane or no? Because it's
I'm going to assume that you don't have to display them indefinitely.
okay.
I mean, at a certain point, that would just be unreasonable.
Because
So-
honestly, I'm like the way I read it, it's like you have to display something. It doesn't have to be a body part. So I mean, I'll probably be displaying like if I found they had a chain, where their chain.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, at a certain point, I mean, you've displayed it for a reasonable amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
We can, you know, understandably say, yeah, there's excuse me, you know, that they can be taken down.
Out of game, I'm going to do it more as because again, if Fenris was allowed to decapitate her, like say this is an agreement with the Shadow Lord to get this honorable accord.
Gotcha.
I'm
Yeah.
maintaining that.
Did anyone have anything else they needed to take care of here? Otherwise, I will wrap this up.
Well, Rat's just going to look over at Aaron and say, "Why so quiet? Normally you're talking a lot, and today you hardly said anything."
Just taking it all in.
That seems out of character for you.
Okay, if that's what you think.
Well, I'm just saying, ever since we hung out, you've been more the vocal person. I'm just not used to you being the more observant, quiet type. It's not a bad thing. Let me just say that. It's not bad. It just, I'm a little taken back, that's all. I didn't know if maybe something was on your mind that you're wanting to discuss. Maybe not here in this context, but, you know, usually when I think people are quiet, either they're processing or they want to talk.
Hmm?
Fair enough.
Anything I need to talk about? I mean,
John,
though, Veronica and I may want to catch you up on some things.
well, that would be great. John, my character is going to turn back to Hamid.
All right.
Out of game,
She
bless
kind
you.
of she kind of glances at Veronica briefly, and she's like, might want to catch our pack made up on our findings after we after we found out what the enemy is up to.
Oh, well, that would help me out quite a bit. Apparently, I've been away from that water cooler.
This is getting a lot more serious than people think.
Well, you remember at the moot, I had a funeral for that Silver Fang pup cub.
Mhm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, Rat, we We found the individual who did him in, and she shared information with us. It's not who you think is pulling the strings or not pulling the strings. We've all been it's kind of a shock to us all, really, but it seems that Veronica's tribe and this are being duped.
Interesting.
The
Definitely not a tribe
Magnussons
I want to
are
mess with.
the Magnussons, which are of my tribe. She
Yeah.
kind of rolls her eyes. Seems they're behind thing. They apparently even have a little storehouse with weapons there for this battle. Which reminds me, she glances that we probably need to take a trip there soon.
Oh, I love to go shopping. Sounds fun.
Oh, we should.
Do I get the 5-finger discount?
I don't see why not.
I'd rather be
But,
cutthroat with my deals. She smirks sinisterly.
I have to test the product and make it sure it's good, so I need to use it on someone, right? I don't want to buy a faulty gun, even if it's free. You know, I mean, justice needs to be served. Either warm or cold, doesn't bother me.
But this is the problem. He's gaining more and more support all the time, the less we do something.
Yes.
And he's using not just tribal differences, but people's dreams to convince them that they have control.
Oh, shit.
That's your main problem.
This isn't. You're not. Are you talking like Elon Musk simulation theory going on here? Is that what you're talking about?
Out of game, I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, out of game it means that we're all in this computer simulation, that we're not in control of it, that we're just part of a program. Out of character. Basically, convincing us we have control when we don't.
Oh no, they're not convincing us. They're convincing those that they have called in to help them.
The other tribes are being patsies for the Magnussons, including his own.
Yes.
Oh, is that why we had that wonderful meeting with the Magnussons, or at least their ancestor?
They are not my ancestors.
Oh, no, not yours. Remember the fight?
Are enemies of my family.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize if I never meant, I never said that they were, I understand they're enemies. I clearly get that point, especially seeing your reaction to it. But then this leads to a bigger problem, is our pack is still, everyone's worried about making an alpha when we can circumvent a war.
Our pack isn't the only one, but we do need to get that stuff sorted.
We should find a way to destabilize them. Because right now he's keeping people under control as a puppet master.
Warehouse is a good start, at least. At least it, takes away some of their means, but those they're screwing over may prove more difficult. I'm not quite.
John, are any of the storm crows nearby still? Or was it
Um,
only at the dragon's tail?
They were just over at the island primarily.
Well, let me ask this. Do we know what she's saying that's convincing them to want to join? I need to know what is the propaganda that's being thrown about.
For my tribe, it was overthrowing the Silver Fangs.
Out of character, I'm like,
They
of course, that would fit. Okay. Go ahead.
As far as I know, they just want to have
Is there any?
over,
Yeah.
over the sept of the frozen forest. They want to be the big get a Fenris on campus, as it were.
Yeah, but then we lead into a problem. If we go and take out the head Magnuson, that could actually solidify and help them.
You would have a
potentially on
power.
us.
You would have a power vacuum effect. Would be more of what my problem with that would be.
A power vacuum, okay.
Think what happened when America got rid of Saddam. Someone worse took over, and how someone else took over.
Yeah.
Power vacuum effect.
Well, that's yeah. Well, it sounds like we're going to have to employ some guerrilla tactics if we want to, I guess, drop them. So you guys.
If anything, our pack has the biggest advantage that we're not just a singular tribe. And if they have the same advantage of not being a singular tribe, I say fuck it, let's take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I don't think they have bonars, and I'm sure you can get details from your end.
Oh, I have plenty of little spies that can give me information. I just need a lot of food, but I can get info.
Air.
I can.
Yeah.
You and I can still continue There's evidence that our tribes have good relationships in the past, even if we had disagreements. We could continue this even in our pack and demonstrate this. I saw their storm crows. I can't talk to spirits, but I'm in very good standing with Grandfather Thunder if you want to see if you can get information through them. At least.
I may have a spirit that I can also speak to, though. See how he feels about that. Let me put it this way. Around storm crows was the sept of the frozen forest, and they didn't seem so thrilled by my presence. But again, considering where we were.
All I can say is I can't speak to spirits, but they seem to like me. As far as my spies, they're a little more flesh and blood, personally.
But who's to say that once you find out that those of your tribe are being duped by the Magnussons, they won't be more willing to help.
And I may also have some connections that may be able to get us through on certain things.
I'll have to talk to Bacon Grease, but I might be able to find more information. Just and if you can help me out with this, what information would you? What is it that you want for information? Because it's it's not going to be given freely. I know that, unfortunately. I mean, I can utilize the underground.
So some of the things we need to figure out is some of their structures, but I'm sure there's other things that we're not paying attention to either.
Okay. You wouldn't happen to have? Do we have photos or any evidence of some that we know of? Because then I can find ways to have them being trailed. I can, like I said, I'm not afraid to get down and dirty. But because I can try to get them, I can send spies to watch them to go where their structures are. I just need to know who we need to spy on.
What about our Ragabash? She might be able to hack and get pictures.
Well, that would be good if we could.
Could Abby?
Which? Yeah, Abby. Yeah.
She could probably find surveillance cameras, and we could find some
all over the city too.
So we could just find. We don't even have to pick like the biggest baddie. We could just find someone that's overlooked and regularly interacts with somebody, and be like, spy on them.
Okay.
Because we all know the big name. Oh, sorry. Outer game, sorry.
No, it's fine. I think it's great. If Abby can if we can get at least a picture, then we know who to look for. I can find locations. That's not a problem. It just, I need, a picture, a smell, I mean, I'm not afraid to do that. This is more my element than anything else. So.
That is one thing I enjoy about your tribe.
Yeah. Well, I like to try to think I'm versatile. That's all I want to say. And I also know that I don't make a lot of friends in certain places. I'm definitely not going to be invited to any Fianna drinking fests anytime soon. But, at the same point, I'm not going to compromise who I am, and I'm going to be myself. But, and I got to say this. I respect them both. I respect the Get. I respect the Shadow Lords.
Charmed.
I value wisdom and strength and determination. I also like the fact that no one seems to care about me, so I can walk around freely. What's that? My ears are picking up a radio signal. But yeah, we can. If Abby can help us find people, I can with greasing some palms and giving some food, I can hopefully get a hold of some spies to follow, or maybe I can talk to certain individuals who know people. But that's what the other thing I want to know is what, when we go and get this information, I just need to know more details on what information do you guys really seek so I can give them a direction.
I think what we should do is do surveillance, get Abby to look into surveillance, and we find a target they don't pay attention to that much. Because when we go for a big name, that person's going to pay attention and they're going to be paranoid. You go for someone little that happens to interact with various people, we could spy on them. Because they're going to be careless and we can take advantage of that.
No, no, bear with me, both of you. I know this sounds weird, and I'm not doing this out of being disrespectful, but idea kind of popped in my head. You mentioned about taking the head honcho causes a power vacuum.
Yes.
Right now, obviously you're trying to establish an alpha, but in this case, with what's going on, it might be better not to have an alpha, because then there's no big name to take down. What?
We are not aiming to take out the Sept Alpha.
No, not us. No, we're not taking out a Sept Alpha. That's not what I'm saying.
He's talking about our pack.
You said Alpha.
He's saying
Our
in
pack.
our pack, don't cut off the head. If you cut off the head of the leader, there's a problem.
And what I'm saying is, if there's no head of a leader, there's nothing to cut off. Basically, let's forgo the pack alpha challenge right now, because we don't have the time to sit and bicker. If that makes sense. I wasn't saying no. I was saying we need to put the alpha piece aside until it's, we all know each other's strengths. Let's use them. Oh, damn it. Or maybe we just make us.
I wonder what Isley could bring in. She said she believes there's Weaver taint.
Hmm?
Didn't Isley say that she heard there's possibly Weaver taint over there? Out of game.
Well,
what about this? What if we just...
we haven't had up.
Why don't we have a simple vote for a temp alpha? Someone to lead right now if we need to have an alpha, until we can challenge for, have more of a formal challenge for.
Well,
pack
that
alpha.
would involve all of us being present.
Out of game, we could do it in the pack chat.
And considering 3 of us for sure challenging out of how many of us?
Our pack represents respect, war, and wisdom.
Yeah.
What if we had a leader for each one of those things?
That would make a committee.
But then that would also make it where they can't decapitate the head of the leader and there's disorganization or power vacuum effect that you're worried about.
Yeah, we got checks and balances there. I'm okay with that, but I'm just one voice. John, I got a question about a character. Do we, Tim, or if we don't already have, do we have a pack blue book that we could be all writing in for the pack members, that we could maybe do some of this in blue book too?
Generally stick to scenes, and you guys can do social scenes too. The problem I've had is when we start doing that is pretty soon timelines get messed up of what happened in your private blue book versus that one, or did that happen before this scene or after? And then
no, I get that. Yeah.
So
I mean, I think having whew. Here, that was my same thought.
That's why out of game I brought up this idea, so it like problem solved, but then it's like you get your bases checked when someone's like, no, we're not. We can't do that because of this. And it's an odd number. So out of game, so it could be like
Right now I'm more concerned about dealing with this potential threat. You know, I know I'm not attempting to be attacked. I mean, and even if I were alpha, who's gonna? I mean, that would be the oddest piece right there if you're having me as the alpha. So
I would think you wouldn't want it because that would give you attention.
well, exactly. I don't want attention. Well, depends. If I'm trying to work for money, maybe, but that's different. Hey, I perform. I sing.
I already have attention. I'm sure they're keeping an eye out for and she half rolls her eyes, that Sigurdsson girl.
Wait a sec. What if we do this? I know we're brainstorming here, but what if we do this? What if our real alpha is going to act as if it's beta and have someone else who's willing to take the illusionary alpha role? So if that, say, unfortunately, that person who's the nail sticking out, whoever's willing to make a huge sacrifice, wouldn't necessarily destroy the pack because the beta would actually be the true alpha. I mean, obviously, themselves, at risk. But I also think we got some brave individuals here in the pack. I know I don't want to see anyone die, by the way. Let me just say that. And that way we still have an official path. We still have an alpha. They won't really have an idea of what's going on. I guess feed them some misinformation if they do find out about us.
I like that idea.
Sure. Misinformation can definitely be useful.
And so the bigger question is not necessarily who's going to be the alpha, but who's willing to pretend to give the illusion of being our pack alpha. Because I know that we do have no offense, Ira, we have a huge target with us.
I'm not sure how huge of a target I am, but I'm sure they'll pull whatever punches they can if they meet me out on the street.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a huge Hatfield and McCoy thing going on here.
Out of game, you
Which
could.
Is,
Veronica would be good at that role just because most people aren't going to want to mess with her. As well as all some people be like, "What? How is she up? Oh, Foster and Wright." It'll be really misleading.
But I thought maybe we go that route. We'll still have what we need because we do need to get on this sooner than later. And it is going to take me a little time to. I mean, especially with we got to find what Abby's doing anyways to get this information so that I could talk to my my little friends, my little buddies.
Yes.
I was just saying, people shit on us, but guess what? We get what we need. So. But that's what I'm thinking. Maybe we can propose that. Maybe we can talk to the other type members.
Yes, we all really do need to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah. Maybe some tea and crumpets, you know. That was a joke. I know some beer and bratwurst. I
Beer and
don't
potato
know.
chips,
Maybe
like
some. Yeah. I don't know. Fried shake. You know, I'm down.
Out of game, is Heather's character nearby? Or does she just run off?
As far as I knew, she ran off. That's why I was talking.
Yeah, she had taken off.
yeah,
and
she
then,
was told to run.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah. I'm all set for now.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll wrap this up. This has been another episode of Nightfall in Amsterdam, which was a werewolf scene. Thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching.